Hi, everyone. All right. As you can see from this folder or this file right now, we're going to get into how do you cite and find the sources for your research essay. So before we get into this, I want to show you on the syllabus where everything always is, right? So on Canvas, the homepage, if you scroll down to our calendar, which is where you always find everything, last week, remember we did the research focus mind map. And if you click on that part that says research, search, and quiz, it's going to take you into a module, and the module has all of this information already in it. But I also want to make you a video because sometimes it's easier to understand via video, right? So if you click on this first one, that sources, journal, and databases for the positioned research essay, if you click into that one, that will dictate down EBSCOhost, JSTOR, how you sign up for a JSTOR. But I'm going to walk you through this for just a second. But the very first thing you need to probably know, since in your source incorporation and quote collection, remember that you have to have the correct MLA citations for your source. All right, so once you find your sources, which we're going to get into, you have to make sure, how in the world do I know how to sort these, cite these sources? So here's the beauty. All you got to do, we're going to Purdue OWL is what it's going to take us to, but in Google, just type book citation MLA. And it is going to pop up. You can see owlpurdue.edu. Notice that it is my first one. What is beautiful is they have an entire MLA works cited page. So it will tell you how to cite anything and everything within MLA, which is what we use. So it'll bring this up. And if you go down, it says, all right, your basic book format. You're going to have the last name, comma, first name, period. Italicize the title of the book, period. Put the city of publication, comma, the publisher, comma, and the publication date, right? And all of this is obviously found on the internal page of the book, right, is where you would find everything. They then give you an example down here so you can see it perfectly. And what's great, if you keep scrolling down, they give you more options. Book with more than one author. What do you do then? What about 2 or more books by the same author? So this guide is amazing. So anytime you want to find something, so a lot of you, for example, are going to be using journal articles because that's what you pull predominant off of EBSCO and JSTOR. So I want to find journal article MLA citation. Put that in and boom, first one again, owlpurdue.edu. I click into that. And then the same exact thing, just like it did for the books, it's going to pull up, what do you do when you have periodicals, right? So it's going to say, do you have an article in a magazine? Do you have an article in a newspaper, a review, an editorial letter to the editor, anonymous articles, an article in a scholarly journal? This is the one you're looking for because JSTOR and EBSCO, those will be scholarly journals, AKA peer review journals as well, right? So it tells you, put the author, period. The title of the article in quotation marks, make sure the period's on the inside. Title of the journal is then italicized, put a comma, tell us what volume it is, comma, the issue, comma, the year, comma, and the pages. And they've got a perfect example right here for you, right? And then obviously it keeps going into more and more things in the idea of, is it a special issue of a scholarly journal? So this is going to be your go-to for the rest of your college life, basically for MLA. You got other ones, Chicago Manual and APA, that's on a different site, right? So this is what we're going to be using. So that's how you do that. Go into Google, put in what your database is, journal, video, book, whatever it may be, put citation, MLA, and then look for that purdueowl.edu. All right. I find that's easier than going to Purdue OWL and then trying to search in there. So boom, that gives us our first one. So this brings us to our second point of finding sources on EBSCOhost and JSTOR, as in, how do I even find the sources that I want to use for my paper? So going back to that database that's in Canvas, that module. So the first one they have is the New Orleans Public Library. We've got it broken down into step-by-steps here, but here's what you do, right? You go to nolalibrary.org. And you're going to come in. I am not signed in to, you can see it says join login. I'm not logged in. So I don't even think you have to have an ID for this. You're going to go to research and then you're going to click on databases. All right. And that's going to pull up a whole bunch of databases that you can choose from. You want to scroll down until you get to EBSCOhost. Don't go to EBSCO where it says this book index with reviews. That's not what you want. All right. So you go to EBSCOhost. Click on that. And then it's going to open up different databases that you can use. All right. And again, this is all in that module step by step if you want to see it. So none of these really work that well except for academic search complete. So put a checkbox next to that and then just hit continue. All right. And now this is going to bring you into any type of journals or books or whatever it may be that may have your information. So when you get to the search box, you want to click advanced search because all of you are searching something that is advanced. You're not doing easy things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a place-based one since last time we did the marrying of the two topics. So I'm going to do race and Congo Square. Now, I have no idea if I'm going to get good stuff or not. But what I like to do is I go down to limit your results because I want to be able to read it full text. I don't want to half text. And yes, I want it to be scholarly peer-reviewed journal. So I'm going to click both of those. And then I don't worry about anything else. I'm going to let it pull up whatever it does. And I will tell you, EBSCOhost, I always find, does not have as many items as JSTOR, which I'll show you next. But let's take a gamble. And let's see. All right, so we have an unsung fashion desire, Congo Square, pink-toed tarantulas, and dead people. Expecting the unexpected in children's literature. Not going to work. Seasons but not ethnicity influence urinary iodine concentrations in Belgian adults. Totally not going to work. Herbal medicine use in the district. None of these are going to work, right? So I'd be like, bummer. But you can see where it says PDF full text. If one of these did work, just click on that and you get the whole thing. So this isn't working for me. So luckily, don't worry, we've got your backs. So JSTOR is the other option. You do have to register for JSTOR first. I have the link right there for you. But I am already registered, so I'll just go there. All right, it's just jstor.org. And it's going to bring you to a main page with a search box. But again, you want to make sure that you clicked on the advanced search since you're looking for more than just one thing when you're researching for these research essays. All right, and we're going to put in the exact same things that we put in the other one. So race and Congo Square. And then I'm going to hit submit advanced search. Let's see what we get. Usually JSTOR, by the way, is way better. You usually have to pay for it, but because of COVID, they're keeping it open until June. So take advantage and use it. All right, so we've got Belgium, the Congo, and Imperial Mobility, a singular empire in the historiography of the single analytical field. Not going to work. The invention of a memory, Congo Square and African music in the 19th century New Orleans. That's something I would look into because that would possibly have information about the history behind Congo Square and how it's been treated. Congo Square by Randy Fertel. I know him, actually. I don't know if any of you had Ryan Fertel as a professor at Bard, but that's his dad. This is a memoir, so it might go into some history on Congo Square. This one is great. Congo Square, race, place, and complexity of Blackness. So this, since I'm putting in race and I'm looking at race ethnicity within Congo Square and how it's been treated, that's going to work. The missing link between Congo Square and the Mardi Gras Indians, right? That's taking something else. Commemoration and nostalgia, boom. So we're getting tons. This is 2010 and beyond. I don't know if that would work. And Mardi Gras Indians. So we're seeing this kind of connection between Mardi Gras Indians, race, and Congo Square. So now all of a sudden your research, another one, why Congo matters. So you can see how JSTOR has tons. Then all you have to do is hit download PDF. It'll download the whole article. If you want to look at it first, remember you can read the abstract. So just click on the link and that will open up a new box. And in that box, it will usually 90% of the time, it will have an abstract or it will this one just takes you straight into it, right? But usually they'll have like a little abstract that tells you what it's about. All right. So JSTOR, as you can tell, kind of my BFF and I love it. And the last one that we have for you is scholar.google or Google Scholar. It's not as reliable as going through the journal database, but it's better than using regular Google. I would say use JSTOR and EBSCO first. And then if you can't find your 5 sources, and remember your text counts as a source, if you can't find your 5 sources off that, then you can go to Google Scholar, but I would be hesitant about that. All right, so there we go. We got that. That's done. We're going to get rid of this EBSCOhost because that was not helpful. And then the parts of what do you do after that? All right, so what will my citations look like in my notes and my essays? So this is a pro tip. I wish I could show you my notebook right now, because I always take my notes and I cite in my notes. So then when I go to write my paper, I never have to return back to that original document. Instead, I have all of my notes and I've highlighted them in certain colors to match the organization, right? So I'm going to show you an example. So actually, let me put this on present so you can see it better. All right. So this essay was on Hack the Mainstream, and it was specifically looking at Kendi's How Not to Be a Racist, right? And so here were quotes that I was like, ooh, these are really good quotes that I think that I possibly would use, right? It's only 4 of them from the beginning of the book. But you can see I put the exact quote, write it directly from the book, and then I cite it, last name, and the page number I got it from, right? So that way I've got all of that. So then your notes then are full, and then I can go through and I can say, all right, maybe I'm going to write on the misrepresentation of racism and anti-racism within the media. I then would go through and be like, all right, well, this one has to do with the idea of crime. So I'm going to put that in blue. This one has to do with this idea of definitions of race. So I'm going to put that one in pink. And all of a sudden, as you do that through your notes, you start realizing I have 12 lines that are all of a sudden highlighted in pink. I have 3 that are in blue. But this way, when you go to write your paper, you've got your legend and you're like, I know that blue is about violence. So all of those you can go through and be like, boom, I know exactly what to pull from. And then once you put them in your paper, this is what your citations then look like in your essay, right? So I pulled a paragraph. You will notice this is only half the paragraph. There are only 2 citations and the rest is analytical information. Your quotes are there to support your unique ideas. I already know possibly about what people have said. I want to know what you think about it, right? This is all about your opinion and your stance on something. So you can see when you do use a quote, it is introduced in some way, shape, or form, right? Kendi, in his continual assertion of the importance of definitions, defines colorism as. So you will never just start off a sentence with a quotation. Those are called floating quotes, and we don't have any basis for them, so they don't work, right? And then at the end of that, notice your quotes close the quote. Then you put in the citation with your parenthetical, last name, no comma, page number, close the parentheses, and period after. All right, I'm going to be grading you on your MLA citations and your use of quotes. So listen to this carefully, memorize it to your brain, right? And notice, then right after, we've got 1, 2, 3 points of analysis and personal opinion before another quote is brought in, right? And they will not be repetitive. You're making new points, you're digging in, you're giving all of that information. Okay, so that should cover everything, and no one likes a long video, so I want to stop this video. Let me know if you have any questions, but start doing this, using this for your quotes and for that source and corporation quote collection. This will help you through all of that. All right, I will see you on February 23rd. You know I'm sending you all love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.